Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to Business Innovators Radio. This is your host, Constant Taylor. Today, we have a very special guest on the show, and they're going to share some very exciting information with us. So, if you're looking to increase your personal and professional effectiveness, then you've come to the right place. Our special guest today is Gayle Carson. Gayle has been speaking professionally for over 20 years. The content that Gayle primarily speaks on is the health, wealth, and happiness system, how to market yourself, and the 9 secrets to living regret-free. Gayle has spoken both nationally and internationally and is based out of Miami, San Diego, and Palm Springs. 3 of her 5 books include SOB, Spunky Old Broad Who Kicks Butt, Winning Ways, How to Stay at the Top, and Big Ideas for Your Business. Gayle, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
I'd like to kick off the show by asking you if you could tell the listeners a little bit about your speaking business and the types of services that you provide to your clients.
Well, I do both consulting and coaching. That's number one. And then, of course, I do speak. I speak as a keynote. I speak for workshops. So it's number 2. Number 3, I have resources. As you mentioned, I have books. I have CDs, DVDs. I have training programs. So those are the 3 areas. I also, have radio shows that I do myself. One which is Living Regret-Free, and the other one is Women in Business. And this month I will be starting my own women's network, SOB Radio Network.
Fantastic. And where can the listeners go to tune into your new program?
Well, they can go to radioearnetwork.com, or they can actually go to my website. I have my shows listed on my website, so they can go there as well. And they can listen on the 2015 cars. So there's just a whole bunch of ways to do it. Tablets, phones, cars, everything.
Okay, excellent. Let's dive right into the subject of living without regret. How do you help people do that?
Well, I mean, you have to follow a certain kind of routine, really, and that's the first thing, of course, is your mindset, is your attitude and your spirit. How do you wake up in the morning, and how do you go to bed at night? And what goes on in between is, are you really living regret-free? I mean, there are a lot of people who work very hard during the day, and they come home exhausted. They can't do anything else. There are a lot of people also who are striving to be who they think they want to be, and when they get there, they're not very happy. So it's really, what are you doing in between? Those are my 9 steps that I talk about in living regret-free. But it's really, do you wake up in the morning happy? Do you go to bed at night happy, thinking, wow, this has been a really great and productive day for me? So that's one of the things that you have to do initially.
How do you help people deal with those specific times of regret where you feel, man, I should have been a doctor, I married the wrong person, I should be further in my life? How do you help them deal with that?
Well, those are the shoulda, woulda, couldas, that we all talk about.
Right.
And you can't do that to yourself. What's past is past, and you don't know what the future is. So you have to live right now and today and do the things that are important to you right now, and not do it because you feel guilty by turning somebody down, or you should be saying yes. You do it because it's what you've agreed to do. It's because it's what you want to do, and because it's going to add to your complex being of all the abilities that you have. In other words, you may not enjoy doing something, but if it's going to add to your knowledge and add to your experience and add to your wealth of being able to do something, then you're going to do it. I mean, we all have things that we don't like to do. I don't like to clean out the kitty litter every day, but I tell you, my 2 cats are worth it, so I certainly am going to do that, So I just came back from a trip to California yesterday, and I had my dog with me, and is it easier traveling without a dog? You betcha. But is it worth having her with me? You betcha. So, in other words, it's really, you have to decide how important all the things you do during the day are. But don't dwell on the coulda, woulda, shoulda, because you'll get into a funk and you'll never get out of it.
I think that's excellent advice. I know myself, when I have goals and plans in place, that I'm looking ahead, I'm anticipating the future, and I have no time for regret. Now, once you've helped the person with regrets, the next step is health and wellness. How do you help them with that?
Absolutely. Well, health is, of course, the most important because without good health, you can't do anything else and you don't enjoy anything else. So health to me means having your checkups regularly. This is breast cancer month, a breast cancer awareness month. I am a 3-time survivor, and I discovered each of them through mammograms, went through 16 surgeries, but I've had my pneumonia shot, I've had my flu shot, I got my shingles shot, and because I did get a case of shingles, but it was so minor, and it was really more itching than pain. It was gone and healed in 10 days because I did get the shot. So in other words, it's really practicing prevention. It doesn't mean you're never going to get anything, but it means that when it happens to you, you will be able to deal with it much more positively. So that's the health part. The wealth part is being smart with your money. And it means taking a little bit all the time. I don't care if it's a dime or a dollar, taking a little bit every time and putting it aside so you have it, so that eventually it will total up to a nice sizable chunk. So that's the wealth part of it. And then, of course, you've got happiness. Who do you surround yourself with, and what do you do, and what really turns you on and makes you happy? And those are the people and the events and the social style that you should live in. And for example, you mentioned where I live. I live in nice, bright, shiny, warm places, and that's because that's what I like. And so I'm not going to put myself in a situation where there's going to be cold weather a majority of the time. Now, when I was on my speaking tour and so forth, was I in cold weather? You bet I was. But that was something I chose to do for over 20 years. And I was on the road a lot, and I was in cold weather a lot. I dressed for it, and that's what happens. But you have to take into consideration all the different factors that go into those 3 areas.
Okay, excellent. And then after you have dropped all regrets and after you've started the path to health, wellness, and happiness, what about marketing yourself?
Well, this is very interesting because most people hate marketing, and you've got to market yourself every day. You've got to market your business every day. No matter what business you are in the marketing business. And you can be the best things in sliced bread, but if nobody knows you're there, it doesn't do you any good. So it means making contacts every day, getting your PR, your public relations every day, making sure that you make new contacts every day, and be exposed to the people and the clientele that you want to attract. So it means getting, whether it's by social, the emails or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or however you're doing it, whether you're speaking to people, go to networking events, whatever you do, you have to do it every single day.
Okay. Now, in an often talked about component in marketing, especially as it relates to yourself, is the branding or the personal brand. Do you cover that piece?
Absolutely, and that's why I'm known as Dr. Gayle S.O.B., Spunky Old Broad. I mean, I'm proud of it. Some people say, oh, you don't want to be considered old. And I said, yeah, but the SOB, I am the SOB. But SOB stands for Spunky, Open, and Brave. And everybody wants to be spunky, open, and brave. So it's a brand that I've created. I've got SOB clubs around the country, and I go out as the SOB. I do a lot of television interviews as the SOB because I am proud to be over 50. I am proud to be someone who keeps going no matter what age she is. And so that's one of the reasons why I think branding is important. Whatever it is, whether it's your business or you yourself, you need a brand to set yourself apart.
Okay. Well, I absolutely love your energy. I can just feel it coming through the phone. It's very powerful and it's contagious. I love your positive attitude, your great outlook on life. Tell me and the listeners, how did you get to where you are today? Where did you start?
Well, I started very, very young. I had my first job at the age of 13, and I've never really worked for anybody. I've always created my own jobs. My first job was when I was 13. I had broken 22 pair of glasses, and my father said, if you break another pair, you are buying them. And so I went to the optometrist, picked up my 23rd pair, came downstairs. He was waiting in the car. I put the glasses on the seat of the car, and I sat on them, and I promptly broke them. We hadn't even pulled away from the curb. So I knew I had to pay for them. I knew I had to go out and get work. I did not want to babysit, so I asked him if I could get a job. And this was in the 50s, so people stayed home, and there were jobs in the paper. And I decided that I would become an Avon lady. And I started selling Avon cosmetics door to door, became the top salesperson in our area. And every year when I was 14 and 15 and 16, I created jobs in radio. I created jobs in modeling. I created jobs in a camp as the director of music and drama and dance. And when I was 17, I went off to college, and I finished in 3 years. And I had a dream of moving to Miami. And that's what I did. I gave myself 2 weeks to make it. On the 14th day, I got the job I wanted. 8 months later, I owned the business, and I was 21 years old.
Wow.
So, and I've had business ever since, not doing this, but doing, what I did then. So it just shows you it's hard work. It's being very focused, and it's taking advantage of as many opportunities that present themselves to you.
Okay, excellent. That was going to be my next question. Is that I'm sure that you convey a lot of your personal secrets to success in your books and in your speaking, but I was going to ask, what do you attribute that to? And you just mentioned three things. Is there anything else that you would attribute your personal success and growth and development to?
Well, yes, I, of course, believe in continuous learning. I just went to a seminar this weekend. I do a lot of seminar attending. I do a lot of reading, all of that. I have coaches and so forth myself. But also, I think it's discipline and persistence. With discipline and persistence, you can really, get just about everything done.
Okay, excellent. So now, with our final minute that we have here, I would like for you to share one thought, one concept with the listeners that you would like to leave them with.
Well, the concept I would like to leave them with is to be the best that you can be. Not the best of anyone, but the best you that you can be. You cannot compete with anybody else. Just figure out what your strengths are and really emphasize those and hire your weaknesses, because you can spend a lot of time trying to get better at something that you should never have started in the first place. So be the best you that you can be. Excellent.
Well, if the listeners would like to get in contact with your organization, how can they do that?
Well, my website is SpunkyOldBroad.com. My email is Gayle, Gayle Carson 13@gmail.com. So they can do it that way, or if they want to call, my number is 305-534-8846.
That is fantastic. Gayle, thank you so much for coming on the show. That was very exciting information that you shared with the listeners. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.